Mystery at Blind Frog Ranch Season 5 premieres Wednesday, June 18 at 10 p.m. ET on the Discovery Channel. Stream Discovery with Philo, DirecTV, Sling, and Hulu Plus Live TV. Plus access the series on Hulu and Max, bundle and save. Episodes are also available on Discovery. Mystery at Blind Frog Ranch follows Duane Olina, a man whose obsession with a Utah mystery has led him to dedicate a majority of his time and resources to solving it. Believed to be home to a bounty of cursed artifacts and treasure, Blind Frog Ranch sits atop a series of underground caves, 7 spread out across the 160-acre property. This Discovery Channel series documents Duane's search for the elusive, fabled fortune, chronicling the investigation and excavation of the legendary Utah land. Watch the Mystery at Blind Frog Ranch Season 5 premiere tonight at 10/9 on Discovery. Viewers can also find Discovery shows like Mystery at Blind Frog Ranch on Max. Bundle Max with Hulu and Disney Plus to save on streaming. If you purchase a product or register for an account through a link on our site, we may receive compensation. By using this site, you consent to our user agreement and agree that your clicks, interactions, and personal information may be collected, recorded, and / or stored by us and social media and other third-party partners in accordance with our privacy policy. The sky above Utah's Uinta Basin crackled with dry summer heat as June 18 arrived. Along a remote stretch of scorched wilderness, nestled among rust-colored cliffs and brittle cottonwoods, the gates of Blind Frog Ranch creaked open once again. After months of silence, the crew returned, not with fanfare or words, but with intent carved into every measured step, every gear hauled from trailers to tunnel mouths, every breath held in anticipation. Season 5 of Mystery at Blind Frog Ranch had officially begun. Dust spiraled across the cracked ranch road as the convoy rolled in. Trucks loaded with equipment, some familiar, others brand new, settled into formation beside the weathered cabins and storage bays. High above, a circling hawk traced lazy loops in the air, as if drawn by the subtle hum of energy rising from the ground below. The returning crew, veterans of previous seasons' trials, moved with practiced efficiency. Steel boots clinked against gravel. Canvas straps were cinched tight across crates of sensors and cameras. Attention settled over the land, almost sentient, as though the ranch itself had been waiting. Beneath the surface, the landscape whispered secrets no satellite could read. Deep within the limestone layers, beyond the known tunnels and unstable caverns, rumors of ancient structures and buried artifacts beckoned. For centuries, stories had circulated about gold, radiation spikes, uncharted chambers, and inexplicable phenomena. None had been fully proven. None had been dismissed. This season, the crew returned not just to explore, but to conquer. Among the arrivals was a new addition, a mobile scanning unit equipped with muon tomography technology. Unlike radar or sonar, this device could penetrate solid rock and reveal hidden voids with unmatched precision. It was mounted atop a custom steel rig, its black sensors resembling watchful eyes. It would become the season's cornerstone, tasked with mapping what human hands had never touched. Work began without hesitation. On the first morning, the crew established a forward base near Tunnel 6, a collapsed passage sealed since last season's sulfur event. A pair of ground engineers marked a perimeter with survey flags while drones ascended, scanning the perimeter for new cracks or shifts. Even the air felt different this year, warmer, heavier, laced with a faint mineral tang. A generator kicked to life, its low rumble rolling through the valley. Hydraulic cutters were assembled, capable of slicing through the calcite buildup that had sealed the tunnel mouth like concrete. Every movement was deliberate. This season, mistakes could cost more than just time. They could cost lives. The trench was reopened by the end of the first week. Beneath, the darkness yawned wide, inviting yet indifferent. Floodlights lined the descending ramp. The walls sparkled with tiny quartz veins, glimmering like constellations under halogen beams. Along one edge, fresh markings had appeared, scratches in the stone that hadn't been there before. No tool could have made them cleanly. They were curved, looping in patterns like flowing script. A camera was lowered first. It drifted silently through the corridor, transmitting grainy footage of a side chamber half submerged in water. At the bottom, something metallic reflected light, square, dull, ancient. Data teams huddled around monitors. Coordinates were logged. Extraction plans were drawn. Above ground, the scanning rig began its sweeps. The Mune readings arrived slowly, an evolving portrait of negative space. A chamber emerged 40 feet below the water table, symmetrical and angular. Architecture, its outline hinted, walls, and possible roof supports. No natural formation could explain it. The void pulsed on the screen like a heartbeat, dormant but undeniable. Geologists triangulated the chamber's position while divers prepared a descent into the waterlogged corridors. They wore new suit lined with chemical detectors, precautions against the toxic gases that had plagued the site before. The ranch's dangers had not faded. They had only sunk deeper, waiting. The dive took place 3 days later. A trio of divers entered the tunnel with oxygen rebreathers and narrow-beam headlamps. Their progress was broadcast on screens at base camp, where technicians watched in silent tension. Visibility dropped near the chamber, but the silt cleared just low enough to reveal it. A stone threshold carved with deliberate precision. Beyond it, a passage led into the earth, a straight path, not one carved by water or collapse. Inside, the chamber walls bore signs of soot and scorch. Charcoal fragments collected from the floor were bagged and dated. Tests later would place them at least 500 years old. In the far corner, behind a calcite ridge, lay a box, partially buried, wrapped in mineral deposits, and sealed with copper bands now green with age. The box was not opened. Not yet. Its presence alone was enough. Above ground, excavation efforts doubled. Trenches were widened. Pumps were installed to control flooding. Data from the chamber was compared to Spanish mining records, to old maps recovered from university archives, to indigenous oral histories that hinted at hidden routes and forbidden caverns. Days passed, then weeks. Unusual readings began to accumulate. Radiation levels spiked intermittently, not enough to pose a threat, but well beyond background. Magnetometers veered inexplicably near a particular ridge. At night, cameras captured strange reflections along the pond's surface, quick pulses of light that disappeared the moment humans approached. None of these events were explained. The energy on the ranch shifted. It wasn't fear or superstition, but a growing sense that something was watching. Tools disappeared from locked sheds. A section of fencing was found warped, as if twisted by heat. Trail cams turned off without warning, footage wiped clean. Still, the team pushed forward. A secondary chamber was discovered adjacent to the first. This one entirely dry, filled with sediment and traces of woven fabric. Pollen samples embedded in the dirt were traced to species not native to Utah nor the Americas. Analysis hinted at transoceanic trade, centuries before Columbus. News didn't break in headlines. It filtered out in fragments, cryptic press releases, blurred teaser clips, updates buried in fan forums. Viewers knew something had changed. This season wasn't just chasing gold. It was brushing against the edges of a new history. Back at camp, the days grew longer. Equipment hummed day and night. The final weeks of filming focused on one objective: accessing the structure beneath the ridge. The crew drilled cautiously, setting seismic sensors to monitor any movement. What they found beneath the last slab of rock changed the tone of the expedition. A vault. Its construction was unmistakably deliberate: shaped stone, interlocking joints, filled with soil not native to the basin. It had no apparent entrance, no hinges, no breaks in the seal. Only a series of geometric carvings matching symbols from Mesoamerican codices. The season ended not with an opening, but with a decision not to force it. For now, the vault remained untouched, its contents a mystery preserved by stone and time. The team withdrew with evidence cataloged, samples packed, and new plans in place for what came next. Back at Discovery headquarters, producers assembled the footage into 7 meticulously crafted episodes. No voiceover dramatics. No grand pronouncements. Just a sequence of moments. A journey, layered in dust and caution, driven by quiet determination. Viewers tuned in on June 18 with expectations set high. What they received was something deeper, a slow, deliberate unfolding of mystery. Not revelation, but possibility. Not answers, but the awe of proximity to something unknown.